Esan oye, Esan oye, Esan oye. Eni mi ole over precious. Wege no wa regbe wana kalui adudu na yemege onebena. Wana ro mai iwo kan be. Adudu ohehe ni makalu. Adudu na re mu iwo kan ne hesan. Na re mu re shanwo wi onebe. Elena nya wana we mala aru bore kan kiri. Re mege iwo kan na me abie nehi esan jeje. Mare re haoni ona duduna be we mare lu oye e bo bie san oye mare lu Elena me kwere zi adeso boni onwa enya me aho mewiwa ami omo saba seri wejiwa ye bejiwa na yo na duduna nya adori obo bari etoto na duduna ba mo evelu onwa enwe ava onegese obo shanwe.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, children. Esan oye. Esan oye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, last episode we did, we focused on Esan children that understands Esan language but don't know how to write it. But today we know actually there are some Esan people, Esan children that are born outside Esan land, maybe Benin, Lagos, Kano, Europe, America, and all other parts of the world. And even Esan here that don't understand a single word of Esan language. So today we are interested in teaching those Esan people that don't understand Esan language at all. Please, before I move on, let me sound this very, very important notice to every Esan people. English is a language just as Esan is a language. English language is never a true measurement of intelligence. Don't ever think or believe that your children are more intelligent because they speak better English language. No, no, no. English is just a language, just like Esan language. It is purely for communication, nothing more, nothing less. So if you have a child and you are Esan, and that child is expert in English language but knows nothing about Esan language, my dear, your child is yet to start. An Esan child needs the combination of Esan language and other language for communication and for learning. Very, very important. Remember, Esan people have their identity in two things: the tribe and their language. Without the language, definitely your identity is incomplete. Today we are going to talk about Esan vowels. This time we are targeting Esan children or Esan people that don't even understand anything about Esan language. You just need two things to catch up in this lecture or in this teaching. The first thing you need is a copy of this book. Teach yourself Esan language. You need a copy of this book because our teaching is going to be based on the content of this book. The second thing you need is your own attention. You don't need any other thing. A copy of this book, teach yourself Esan language, and your own attention. And this book is already everywhere in the whole country. Uromi, Ekboma, Benin, Lagos, Abuja, USA, London, anywhere you think of, you can get a copy of this book. Get a copy of it and you are good to go. Yeah, you see, every language starts from the vowel. Vowel has to do with the sound. Every language has its own sound, and once you master the vowel, learning or understanding language becomes very, very simple. Today we are going to talk about the Esan vowel, and we are going to talk about it moving from the English language area down to Esan language axis. So follow me as I teach you Esan language vowel, having in mind that we are moving from the English side down to Esan language side. Good. The first language or the first vowel we have in Esan, or when we say Esan vowel, there are 7 in numbers. Esan vowels is made up of 7 different figures. Now the first one is the letter Now, what you are seeing here is, in English language, is pronounced as A. Now, in English, it's pronounced as letter A, whereas in Esan language, it is pronounced as letter A. Class, in English language, what is one called? Again? Again? In English, it is called letter Good. In Esan language, it is pronounced as A. Now, what did I say? It's pronounced what in Esan language? Again? Again? In English, it is called, in Esan, it is called Good of you. Meaning, when you have this letter anywhere, in English, you call it A, but in Esan, you call it what? Good. Now, in English language, again, class, what do you call this in English language? Again? Again? Good. But in Esan language, we call it A. Again? Again? In English, what do we call it? In Esan language, what do we call it? Good. Now, the third one is this one I have here now. In English, does it not have a name?
No.
Meaning in English, it has no name. In Esan, we call it Now, what do you call it? Again? Again? That is, when you write E and place a dot under it, becomes okay? What do you call it? In English, you call no name. Good. Now, in English, what do we call this letter? Again? Again? Good. In Esan vowel, we call it E. Again? 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 In English, it's called what? In Esan, it's called what? Good. Now, in English language, what do you call this letter?
O.
Again? Good. In Esan language too, it is called O. Now, in English, what is this?
O.
In Esan.
O.
In English.
O.
In Esan. Meaning both in English language and in Esan language, they are both called O. Good. Now, we have this letter O with a dot under it, right? In English language, does it have a name?
No.
Meaning English has no name for this kind of letter. But in Esan language, it's called O. Again?
O.
Again?
O.
Again?
O.
When you write O and place a dot on that, is called O, right? Meaning in English, there's no name. Good. Now, in English language, what do you call this letter?
U.
Again?
U.
In Esan language, we call it U. Again?
U.
Again?
U.
Again?
U.
In English, what do you call it?
U.
In Esan, what do you call it?
U.
Good. Now, there is one thing I want to let the class know, and every Esan learner. See, in the English alphabet, this singular word A can do the work of A and do the work of A. Now, if you write B-A-K-E, B-A-K-E, you pronounce this letter here as A, bake, bake. You can see it is doing the work of A here, but you write B-A-C-K. The A here will now be doing the work of A, meaning if you pronounce as back. Here it is bake, here it is back. Yet it's a single word, A here, pronounced as A here and A here. But in the Esan alphabet, in the Esan vowel, it doesn't change. If this were to be Esan, you have Bake, B-A-K-A, Bake. But in English, you call it bake because A here is doing the work of A, but here it is doing the work of A. So what I want to say is this: in Esan vowel, the letters doesn't change in their meaning. The way they are pronounced is the way they are pronounced, no matter the number of ways you use it. Okay? Now, back to where we started the game. Like I've told you, we are migrating from English language to Esan language in today's teaching. Now, we've gotten the English alphabet and the Esan alphabet, but we are concerned about the Esan. Why we have to place the two side by side because we want to carry those that don't understand the Esan language along to the area of teaching Esan language. Now, like I said, the class again, let's go back to what we are doing again. Now, let's start with this one. So, what is this in Esan language? Good. Okay, let's now do it one by one. You, what is your name? You, your name? Efwa who? Good. Can you read this? As I point, you read them. What is this? Good. Clap for him. Young girl, what is your name?
Pamela.
Pamela, what's your father's name?
John.
Good. Read after me. Good. Clap for him. Yeah, I think we have had a very wonderful time with the children today, and I'm sure they've both Esan children watching from the diaspora must have understood one or two things by what we've taught today. Please, parents, what you need now is just a copy of this book, and two, make your child or your children to sit down watching what we are teaching right here, and three, make sure they are attentive. With these three things, it will become very simple for them to understand the teaching or what we just taught them here. You see, like I've told you, if you are Esan and you don't understand Esan language, my dear, your being Esan is not complete. If you want to be Esan, you must understand Esan language, because there is no Englishman anywhere in the world that don't understand English language. Same with Igbo, Yoruba, and all that. If you are Esan, you should understand Esan, just as the British understand English language, Hausa understand Hausa language, and all that. Elena, Medegbi ukumioka gboma wa Elena ebezele noda dia noda rahi oro no sole. Wake kaiho ibmeume tamaba vedalania. Ege sokidore onoriana driver no oda hashin oda no mu esa hashin otu alusa nodo muhe. Okay, I can wait osason re akia. Okay, the chara kere oji ede owo dia. Ede re mo mudia. Ebo de bubu ede afun ede yirebe. Ede amirebe igo on emu e agbo emion igo. On emu e agbo emion igo. Ide kere mi keep boy ora kere so heu. Ine omo kwa egbe me a. Awale mi ge onoji no munde ojo yi ni upopa be keole ohin ebo taye. Okese joye ora shakeleru. Iro gele do to da shakeleru. Owa ro ikobo owa ro ikmeni owa mi oligo owa ye gbo ora mi ne kerebe igo de kiko ari dani. Okimi go fu era yo pano wa so wa do bewe. Iro gele pano ora na kewe ora negbe. Wọ́n lè bẹ̀ sunu wọ́n ní oyige ọ̀nà òjì ní òkèrègè ọlọ́run yọ hẹ́ù ọ̀nà ọmọ ọ̀kwá ní orú ọ̀nà ọ̀zẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ hàn mìgé obi ọ̀nà sọ̀rẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ nà ọ̀ẹ́ra lórí àní ìwé àgé sàrákìnrin wígé ọ̀yì orú ọ̀nà ọ̀zẹ́ ọ̀nẹ́gẹ̀ ní ẹni òyì ní ar ẹ̀gbọ́ yẹ èkì ẹ̀mìọ́ ìgò lẹ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́ wa ọ̀wọ́dọ̀ àtàbí ọ̀nẹ́gẹ̀ ní ìwé àgé dọ́gẹ̀ orú ọ̀nà ọ̀zẹ́ ìrànwọ́ ọ̀hẹ́sà ọ̀hìn ẹ̀bọ̀n ọ̀nà yìí ẹ̀bọ̀ ìta ọ̀dà àmọ́ ẹ̀ àrẹ̀mẹ́ ó yẹ ìrà obi oye kona wa erubo soy wa emyo igo wa ye gbo geda geda ndege ozuro no soy ara mi nige ara zobo bi idani onu pede wa kayo ono ka me gbe vanani a bi habo e wan be ba ri be ke ono e wona nia big meta bana class ono wa be wata yeseka wa e meta ye e wan be ba ri bo ni o ka me gbe na nia big meta nia
Me quiero chamar para lo me wo Esan ya Esan do Esan yo oye zopo e be ba e to no ha ye oni me jo me kan wa wa
oh papa na le papa na e ba se le no se
boy David
Ora la gbole ma ona kama oka gbara la gbole mi no gbole ba wa gbole ono ka ni ata mama ba gbole ke ono wa ma gbole ke oi ara gbota mama wa gbole ke no ka ni
Eke ono kani ebme luewo iwana ba iwani ne. Eke ke na le mi se ke imoni ma bie uru no samanu ma zo ni. Ale jada mi gbe aho. Awege also wan le aho. So ni enwa ni melu ebe ke ono.
Obo ogba ko ma agba bon teacher. Okay, yeah. Da yo ikamale igma ro selena. Ina mala rozo nelena. Adela bovade. Magboni na mokegboro akia. So on that note, we have come to the end of today's teaching on Esan language. Bearing in mind that today's Esan teaching was focused mainly on Esan people born outside Esan land, or Esan people that were born that never had the opportunity of being brought up by Esan parents in Esan language. Thank you very much once again. I'm your son, your brother, your teacher, Sunday EHIMARE in Egbedusa. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you so much.
Clap for your uncle. Esan clap. Another one. Another bigger one. So, Esan, Rabu na yemege waregi na duduna. Va yele are gae va leko. Amege oni bena va guano. Ebi no phone number wo to on video na va mi on e bena va yele teach yourself Esan language. Okay, kini ware amo e. Rabu Esan. Ma mi egbe uzana no vade. Rabu.